Picture this. It's 1:20 in the afternoon at an elementary school in Osaka, Japan. Class just finished lunch. And now, before a single teacher gives a single instruction, 30 kids stand up, grab mops, rags, and brooms, and start cleaning their own classroom. The floors, the windows, the hallways, the bathrooms. Nobody told them to. Nobody is standing over them. This is just what happens every single day. Now picture a school in suburban Ohio at the same time. A kid drops his lunch tray. He looks around, waits. A janitor shows up 2 minutes later and cleans it up while the kid watches. These two moments tell you everything about the difference between these two systems. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why one of them is quietly building adults, and the other is building kids who can't function without someone else stepping in. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you took me 12 years inside American schools to fully understand. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. In Japan, there is a concept called tsuji. It means cleaning time. Every single day in every public school across the country, students stop what they're doing and clean their school. Not the teacher, not a hired janitor. The kids. Groups of 5 or 6 are assigned to specific zones. Their classroom, a hallway, a staircase, sometimes the school bathrooms. They sweep, mop, wipe, and organize. This happens for 15 to 20 minutes every afternoon, without exception, rain or shine, 1st grade through 12th. And that's just the cleaning. At lunchtime, something else happens. A rotating group of students, called the Kyushoku Toban, puts on white aprons, caps, and masks. They walk to the school kitchen, carry the food back to the classroom in heavy containers, and serve their classmates. Every student, one by one. The teacher sits and eats alongside them. No cafeteria worker, no lunch staff, no adults doing the job that the children are perfectly capable of doing themselves. Then after everyone finishes eating, the same students clean up the trays, sort the waste, recycle the milk cartons, and prepare everything for return. One student was once asked why she arranged the spoons in the same direction on the return cart. Her answer? So the person washing them has an easier time. She was 8 years old. But this goes even deeper than cleaning and lunch. Japan has an entire educational framework built around this principle. It's called tokkatsu, short for tokubetsu katsudo, which translates to special activities. It is part of the official national curriculum, not an elective, not an after-school club. The curriculum itself. It includes daily classroom meetings where students run the discussion themselves. A nichoku, a daily classroom coordinator, rotated among all students, who opens the morning, reads announcements, manages transitions, and closes the day. Student councils where children as young as 7 make real decisions about how their school operates. This system has been embedded in Japanese schools since after World War II, when the country deliberately designed an education system around producing citizens, not just test scores. The philosophy behind it is a single word: juritsu, self-reliance. And the Japanese decided that juritsu is not something you teach a child by telling them about it. You teach it by requiring it of them, every single day, until it becomes who they are. Now let me show you what that produces in the data. PISA 2022. The most comprehensive international education study in the world, ranked Japan 5th globally in mathematics with an average score of 536 against an OECD average of 472. In science, Japan scored 547 against an OECD average of 485. The United States scored around the OECD average in both. But here is the number that most people skip past. Japan has some of the lowest rates of school vandalism in the developed world. Researchers have connected this directly to the cleaning system. When you have personally mopped that floor, you don't throw trash on it. When you have carried that lunch across the school, you don't waste food. Behavior follows responsibility. This is not a theory. It is documented cause and effect replicated across decades. In 2024, researchers studying the tokatsu model found that schools implementing it showed significantly higher levels of student discipline, motivation, and cooperation compared to traditional instruction-only schools. The study ran across 3 countries. The results were consistent everywhere it was tried. This is not a Japan thing. This is a human thing. Now here's where I need you to really hear this. Meanwhile, in America, we built an education system around the exact opposite principle. Someone else handles it. A janitor cleans the school, A lunch worker serves the food. A parent packs the bag. A teacher resolves the conflict. A counselor schedules the day. A coach motivates the team. And slowly, invisibly, over 13 years of schooling, the child absorbs one fundamental lesson. When something needs to be done, wait for an adult. I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, that's just how things work here. Kids should focus on learning, not cleaning. We have staff for that. We have liability issues. We have budget allocations. And that argument sounds reasonable until you look at what this system decided to replace responsibility with. Starting in the early 2000s, American schools doubled down on standardized testing. No child left behind. Race to the top. Every reform pointed at the same target: academic performance on a measurable scale. Schools responded by cutting everything that didn't feed that number. Recess got shorter, arts got thinner, and any activity that took time away from test preparation got quietly eliminated. What remained was a system where the child's entire value in school is determined by how well they perform for an external evaluator, not by what they contribute, not by what they take responsibility for, by how they score. Japan never made that trade, and the results speak for themselves. Now let me show you what the American approach produces in real people. A 2026 report tracking helicopter parenting across the United States found that 75% of American parents regularly intervene in their child's schoolwork by contacting teachers or administrators on the child's behalf. 51% of elementary school parents report frequently stepping in to handle minor issues their child could have resolved themselves. And here is the number that should genuinely stop you cold. 78% of young adults raised in overprotected environments struggle to make independent decisions after college. 61% say they feel overwhelmed by basic daily tasks as adults. We are producing a generation of people who are academically credentialed and functionally helpless. This is not a coincidence. This is a pipeline that we built, brick by brick, policy by policy, parent email by parent email. Here is what 12 years in schools taught me. The kids who struggled most were rarely the ones with the worst grades. They were the ones who had never been required to do anything hard without an adult standing next to them. They had never failed at something small and recovered. Never had a responsibility that actually mattered if they dropped it. Never looked at a mess and understood that it was theirs to fix. Those kids are not the exception anymore. They are becoming the norm. And the schools are not going to fix this, because the schools are designed around the same assumption the whole system is built on: that the child's only job is to sit, absorb, and perform on demand. That's the first thing I need you to understand. Here's the second. When Japan implemented tokkatsu into schools in Iraq as part of an international education initiative, the results came back within one academic year. Discipline improved, vandalism dropped. Students showed up more consistently and engaged more deeply in class. The researchers concluded that the effect had nothing to do with Japanese culture specifically. It had everything to do with what happens to a child's brain when they are given real ownership over their environment. Any child, anywhere. When you trust a kid with something that actually matters, they rise to it. American schools have largely decided not to find out if that's true. So what do you do with this? Because the system is not changing on your timeline. The mops are not coming to your child's school next Monday. Here are 3 things you can start this week. First, give your child a job at home that actually matters. Not a token chore, a real responsibility that affects the household. Cooking 1 meal a week. Managing their own laundry start to finish. If they don't do it, the family feels it. That is the point. The feedback has to be real. Second, stop contacting the school for problems your child can handle themselves. I know this one is hard, but every time you email a teacher about a social conflict your child could navigate on their own, you are sending them a message louder than anything you say at dinner. You cannot handle this without me. Let them handle it. Be there when it genuinely escalates, not before. Third, let them fail at something small now so they don't fail at something large later. A missed deadline, a consequence they didn't avoid in time, a situation they have to talk their way out of without you. The short-term discomfort is not the problem. The long-term helplessness is. Japan is not a perfect system. No system is. Their academic pressure comes with its own real costs, but what they got right, what they have been getting right for over 70 years, is this. A school's job is not to protect a child from difficulty. It is to hand them difficulty in controlled doses until they are strong enough to handle the real thing. Your child is going to face the real thing. A job that demands initiative. a relationship that requires them to manage conflict, a problem that nobody is coming to solve for them. The question is whether the 12 years they are spending in that school building right now are preparing them for that moment or protecting them from it. Subscribe, new video every week, and tell me in the comments, does your child's school ask anything real of them beyond showing up and taking tests? I want to know what you're seeing out there.